Well, today's the day. Okay, I've been meaning to do this for quite some time, and that's get on the ATV, get across the stream and go up into the tracks, up into the hills, and really take a look at the property. You know, since I bought this place, I've been meaning to really document some of the beautiful areas up in the hill, some great project ideas I've got for the future, and I'll show you those spots where things are going to be happening potentially in the future. Let's get it started, get across the stream and make our way up the hill. Okay, safely across the stream. That's the first obstacle. Let's get up the hill now, and we've had quite a lot of rain recently, quite a few storms, and I've not been up here since. There's a good chance there's some debris on the tracks, maybe even the odd fallen tree. So I've got the chainsaw in the back here just in case. Let's go see what we can find. Right, we are coming up to the first area to stop at. So this is the first area where there's a little bit wider track and there's a small clearing. I think if you take a look at this infrastructure here, it used to be an area that the sheep would come down to when this was grazing land. Perhaps that was a pen when they were, I don't know, sheared or something. I'm not a farmer. But it's actually really nice if I can just get up onto this little hill here and have a look around. It's not that flat, but it's relatively easy walking. I can see on the ground here there's a lot of foxglove. It's going to be popping up at some point in the near future. Maybe we'll come back up when they're flowering and it should look quite nice. It's a weed, I have to get rid of it, but let's have a look at it before we do. Anyway, let's just get up to the top of the incline there and see what the view's like. All right, here we are at the top of that small incline. Got some great views here of the hills in the distance. Look at that. And if we take a look in the opposite direction, this is pointing west, you can see nothing but hills. And we're actually going to head up through the track, up to the top of that hill and beyond, and then we'll come out on the opposite side of that hill. But we'll get there a little bit later today. Right, that's where we've just been standing, up on the top there. Just taking a little walk along the track here, just up to the opposite side of this clearing. And you can see there's a whole lot of gorse here. Lots of gorse to be removed on this property. Anyway, let's get back to the ATV and make our way back up the track. On to the next location. Oh well, we knew it would happen after all those storms we've just had. There had to be a tree down. Never mind, let's get set up and get it out of the way. For trees fallen, I want to reuse the timber if I possibly can. And it's a decent sized trunk, maybe 6 to 8 inches diameter. Why not make use of it? Let's give it a tickle with the chainsaw. Some relatively small branches which I can put to the side there and deal with later at another day. Why finish the job? All right, let's get some of this debris out of the way. It's really quite wet here. I sometimes wonder, is there another spring just in the hill behind me? We're not far from the water spring here. So as I say, I'll drag these down the hill one day and run them through the chipper. For now they can just have insects living in them. Stuff. These are the days you wish you'd got your penknife. Ow! And gloves. Oh wait, I don't own a penknife. Maybe I should. There we go. Well, that's out of the way. Let the journey continue. Right, after the drama of getting rid of that fallen tree, we're about to head round a corner and be greeted with the thing that perhaps really cemented my desire to buy this property. You know, when I came to look at the place, there were lots of negatives because I wanted to build a big workshop and a shed. There's basically no flat land. But when I took a walk up this track, I only got as far as just around this corner, and that made my decision. I was faced by this tree tunnel. Take a look at this. It's quite enchanting, it's quite magical. You know, there's an awful lot about this property that I really do enjoy and really do like, but this probably has to be one of the most magical places. On a hot summer's day, just imagine being in here under the canopy of these trees, the sunlight just breaking through, but the heat not. It's wonderful, it's cool, it's refreshing. I really need to put a bench out here because I have a feeling I'm going to spend a lot of time here. I'm just going to keep walking because just ahead of this archway is the natural spring to the property. We may as well take a look while we're here. Right, so here we are in that clearing. This is the clearing where we have a number of features actually. We've got a little stream running through, we've got the natural spring which we'll go up and take a look at in a moment. And then right here, you can sort of see how the vegetation changes. Yeah, it's worth taking note of that. I didn't realise that is basically a pond. A boggy pond, I'll grant you, but a pond nonetheless. Yeah, not pleasant, I have to say. Anyway, we're just going to head up this track here and take a little look at the spring. Just need to get across the little stream here. All right. Now the spring itself is fully functional, okay? It provides all the water for this property and indeed my neighbour. But it's not pretty. It's been made to be functional. It hasn't been made to be pretty. You can see there's an awful lot of tree fern that have just dropped through here. And okay, that's natural, but it looks a mess. It would be so much nicer if I were to clean this area up. Again, this is a nice wooded area, great shade in the summer. But if I can make my way up this really very slippy ground, we should be able to get just up to the spring up right there. Right, so I said it wasn't pretty. Here it is. We've got this rustic old fence surrounding it. I'm not sure what it's stopping, but it's there. And inside we've got this plastic butt that you can perhaps see just down here with a filter pipe coming from it, from the rock face behind that plastic, which is where the spring actually comes out through the ground. As I say, it's perfectly functional, but my goodness, it's ugly. And I think I can clean this up, pretty it up, but also make it a little bit more flowing, free-flowing. For now, of course, it's doing a great job. Fantastic spring water, tastes beautiful. We'll leave it alone, well, just for now. But this is another one of those projects that I'll get to at some point. Let's head back to the ATV and get on our way. So much more to see. We've just come around the corner from the spring and we're about to go down a small incline and then we go through another small tree archway out to a rather large clearing. Now I'll show you this clearing. It's where I had got some projects in mind, but now I'm not too sure. Let's go have a look at what's down this hill here. What we're going to do now is just go through a really short tree archway. Here we go. In actual fact, I'm going to stop here and just show you down this embankment here. Let's just take a look at this. Now, there's many wooded areas on this section, and most of them are very similar to this. Okay, relatively small diameter trunk trees, but many of them, clusters of them. But what I wanted to show you is in this tree, you see that dark patch there? I'm really not sure what that is. I imagine it's some kind of vine that's kind of taking over, but it kind of looks like a great big bird's nest. In fact, I think it's where a pterodactyl might live. I mean, I haven't seen him yet, but it's big enough. So you can see over there, that's where we came from, that small tree archway. And it comes out into this really rather large clearing. And it's beautiful here. Sorry, I can see something. It looks like water. I'll explore that in a moment. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes, and it comes out into this really nice clearing. It's quite flat, but it's protected. It's a dell. I mean, I call it a dell, not because it can sing well, but because it's hollow within the contours of the land. So it's really well protected from the wind. It doesn't get a great deal of sun in the winter, and I've yet to see it in the summer, but it's a really nice, calm, protected spot. Feels so very, very private out here. There's a lot of gorse, as you can see, up in the hill here, which I will be removing. Now, originally, this is where I wanted to build an off-grid cabin. And I may still do that, but because of the lack of sun in the winter, it may not be the best spot. So we're going to go now further up the track and see if we can find a better place which has better exposure to the sun, but worse exposure to the wind. But before we do, I'm just going to head down there and see what it is I can see just beyond that gorse. From here, it looks like a blue piece of plastic or a bed of flowers or water. So I'm really hopeful that this is a spot of water I've found here. Never seen it here before, never really looked, of course. And I'm hopeful it's water because then it will be a little bit more of a haven for wildlife. You know, I do want to try and attract a few more insects and birds and so on and so forth. The more places they've got to exist, the better. Now, I don't know if you can make it out on camera, but there is an impression in the ground here. And it kind of looks like water has been running here for some time. And I've often seen it, but never seen water. But have a look at this. Here we have some water, some standing water. Now, it may be that we've just had so much rain recently that this has decided to form and it will drain away. I don't know, but my goodness, I'm very pleased to see that. If it sticks around, we'll get some more insects. The birds will be able to drink from it. What more could I want?
May you always find your way to higher ground. May you always keep your head held up high. Pretty little thing, you're a diamond in the rough, shining from within. I can tell that you're tough.
Well, here we are in another clearing. This one's just up the hill from the Dell. This one's probably about the same size of a clearing. Covered in foxgloves. Take a look at these. Oh my goodness. I think this is where the rabbits come to feed, to be honest. The grass is pretty much non-existent. The soil is, well, I'm saying it's terrible. I don't know. I'm not a gardener. I think it needs some work. I certainly need to remove all of these foxgloves. But just imagine how this would look completely covered in purple flower. Wow, it'd be quite something. Now, this is not as protected as the Dell, but it could very well be the new location for the off-grid cabin. I'm thinking potentially just up in the hill here, okay, but we'll see. And the reason I quite like this spot, it's really private. Look, there's nothing but hills surrounding us. I also like the fact that over here we've got the regional park. We can see and hear that in the distance. There's quite a lot of bird life in there. I like the fact that we have this great view to the northeast. Right, something else I love about this particular spot is there's a wonderful walk up here through this little forest area. Look at that. I won't go in there yet, but it's just wonderful. And if we go down in this direction, we head down into the regional park. And if we walk just up here over this embankment, there's another hill on the opposite side, and that is the protected section. Okay, it's a Nickau palm grove apparently. I've yet to see a Nickau palm in it, but I haven't explored it all. You never know, there might be one lurking in there somewhere. But it is a wonderful place. It has a feel of ancient forest, almost Jurassic-like. It's mostly tree fern, but very large and exceptionally steep in places. It's a great adventure. It's easy to get lost, and one day I'll take you out there. But not today. We're sticking to the tracks, remember? Right, we're going to make our way up this final part of the track, just up to that hill that you see in the distance, up onto the other side of there. Okay, let's go.
May you always find your way to higher ground. May you always keep your head held up high.
All right, I just had to stop off here for a minute, because as you come around this corner and this final incline, you're graced with the view, a magnificent view, I think, of the regional park. There are plenty of Nickau palms out there, and I can see them from here, but it's a great view. Just take a look at this. You can see just beyond my gorse is the regional park. It's actually quite a steep valley in between us there, but such a magnificent forest, expansive. Now this clearing at the top, it's really exposed. I mean, it would be, it's at the top, isn't it? But I tell you what, the wind whistles through here. It's a beautiful view, but my goodness, it is not the place to be on a cold winter's day. Fortunately today, it's actually sunny, as you can see, and relatively pleasant. Right, I think that's enough of a tour for today. We've seen quite a lot of the track and quite a few areas where there might be some projects happening in the future. I think it's time now to head back home. So thanks so much for watching. Bye.